coming up. And at the same time, that's how I route the audio into the modular to be affected. So the effect tracks, the modular is only an effects. There is no audio generation. It's only for processing and making mess out of the sounds that these boxes make. And the octatrack is very handy in this case because I can cue out tracks to whatever effects unit that I want to send it to. I think this is a great use case for many musicians out there because you can plug up to 4 different sources on an octatrack, assign them to one of the 8 tracks, and then you can cue them out to individually cue them out using the cue outputs. I love that feature. So basically, when I say I want to have only the digitone to go through the delay and all the other stuff, I cue only the digitone track. If I want to have the drum machine, which is the rhythm, I cue that track. And I've got like other samples playing in the octatrack also. So if I want to cue them into the modular, it's all possible. This is a great mixer performance, keep it all together type of tool, the octatrack. So that's what the octatrack does. It also plays those drum and bass jungle beats. That's I really like. And then, so then there's a digitone, the 4-track, 8-voice FM synthesizer. Yeah, this thing is just a wet dream of mine. It's the best digital synth ever made. It just does everything I wished for all those years. Finally, it's here. I love it to bits. What I would wish for from it is that you had a bit more dirt here, a bit more dirt on it, but you can't have everything in this case. Sorry?
Instead of a few more LFOs.
Yeah, maybe a few more LFOs, harsher distortion. Those are the things I've asked. In this set, it was doing all the melodic stuff that I really is really important for me because that's where I can put a lot from myself into the music. All these beats and stuff, kind of, they make your head knock. But what happens with the digitone is that there is something else that's just not in your head, and that's what I really like about it. I can tell much more. So it does the melodies there, and then it goes into the octatrack, of course, which has its own track, which some effects applied to keep it in time. And with the octatrack's crossfader, I actually change a lot of stuff that happens in the digitone's incoming audio port. So when I push it, it kind of adds a bit more reverb and filtering for the digitone, so that the mix is a bit different and there's something happening at the time. And that's how they work. Then we have the rhythm here, and this is a really fantastic drum machine. It's, just because you can layer samples, digital samples, and analog synthesis in one track, and that goes in through an analog multi-mode filter and an overdrive. It's so cool. This is really good. It's my go-to beat-making machine. And then this, of course, goes into, this is a bit weird now. The digitone output is stereo, it goes into the octatrack stereo. And then the rhythm output is a stereo output too, but if I use it like that, then the modular is kind of out of the game. So what I do is that I treat the rhythm as like a mono source. You may think, oh, what the fuck, but still, the thing is, I think having the beat as a mono source, it actually makes more sense. And especially in this case, it really does for me. Less information is sometimes better, especially with the music and if it's supposed to be a banging stuff. So it's a bit awkward way of doing it, I think. Such a hi-fi device that you plug in a mono, but it works. And then, of course, the rhythm has its own individual track on the octatrack so that it can be processed. And on that track, I have a chorus, which is awesome. Putting chorus on beats is the best thing. And then there is a reverb, of course. So when I push the fader, the chorus and the reverb is activated, while it removes frequencies from the digitone also, kind of like dropping the beat down. I don't know how to name it. It's just some other slider to play around with. And then, we have the modular effects here. I only use it for effects. I'd love to have a system where I could be very comfortable in producing audio in a modular system and take it live. And I haven't met that yet. They're all over the place, but this is awesome. Here I have the first thing is a 4-channel mixer. This would be the delay, the first delay, this is the second delay, and then the clouds, the reverb. So I have 3 wet effects going into this mixer. The first 2 is delay, and then the 4th one is reverb. It's very easy to put them in and remove them into the mix while using the fader and other effects. It gives me a lot of area to play around with the compositions I make. If I didn't have this thing, I would probably have to make double the patterns and ideas, which I don't really like doing. I don't really like to put myself in a position to make music. Say it about my work, but so it's easier to to prepare sets if you have something that is very playful. I really believe in that. I think there is two ingredients that's very important when jamming or making electronic music in these boxes. One, that you're going to be very creative, and one, that you're going to process the audio. I think these are two very important elements, and this is what I try to achieve here. Moving on, I have the crush delay from Befaco. I love Befaco stuff. They're from Barcelona in Spain. They make these awesome modules. You know them. So yeah, there's a crush delay, and then the MS-20 filter clone, again by Befaco. They run in parallel, so the delay output goes into the filter. I have low pass and high pass running at the same time, and I remove a lot of bass from the delay engine so that it doesn't cover so much on the mix. There is the kicks, there is the bass, there is the snare. You want it to have a very little information with such a busy and strange sound which the delay engine produces. So they work like that. Then I have a Rampage module, which is actually two envelopes / LFOs in one box. That's the simplest way of saying it. If you look at it in a complex way, it has so many outputs that transmit the signals that you're producing with the LFOs and the envelopes. A lot of CD outputs and ins, and a lot of options for how the LFO and the envelopes will work. This is a really cool and interesting, and yeah, not that you see around much type of interface for modulation. It doesn't produce any sound. You can produce sound out of it, but that's, yeah, it's very nerdy and geeky for me. Yeah, sure. Okay. And then yeah, so it's a Rampage. That's what the modulation is for, and I use the CD outputs for the delay speeds. Because I have two delays actually. We haven't got to that yet, but so I have two delays, and each of them gets a different type of LFO for the speed CD input. So, and then with this knob here, I can introduce that modulation into the delay engines. This is a really cool way to really mess things up. When you don't have enough ideas on your machines, so to say. So I love that. That's a really cool way. Then next, I have the Mutable Instruments Cloud. It's kind of like a, what is it called, texture synthesizer, and it kind of, the incoming audio gets some kind of resampled and processed and spit out in a granular and a reverby way, glass tones. So maybe you were hearing those glass tones, especially on the digitone. That makes the room bigger almost. Yeah, that's what it does. I really like this. This is, again, it's very unique. I really want to have the things that do very unique things and you don't get to see much elsewhere. I guess that's the whole point of actually investing in such an instrument, at least for me. It needs to be very unique and special, and they really are, I think. And then the two modules here is exactly the same setup as the delay and the filter I was telling you about on this side. Yeah, I'm a bit of a greedy guy, I guess. I didn't have enough one. I was not, satisfied with one delay and filter, but I have two now. It's really cool that way. And for the composition-wise, there wasn't much improvisation actually on this one, apart from noodling around on this. I pretty knew what I was going to play. And there was an issue here, which let's come to that later on, because that really pissed me off. But it was my mistake, it's a user error. But with the heat of action, things go wrong. So when it comes to composition, I think I had 11 patterns on the digitone, 14 patterns on the octa track, and yeah, 13 patterns on the rhythm. So more or less the same amount of patterns, give or take 10. And then the digitone only focuses on the melodic parts. This one is more of everything, and then beats. And for example, if I play pattern number 3 on all the machines and I press play, that will definitely make sense, because I know that if I play 3 on all of them, the composition is alive. Then I have 4 tracks here, 12 tracks there, 8 tracks in here. a lot of things to play around with. So you just need to mute and unmute the melody or the beats at the right time. This is the way I approach it. So it's pre-make your material and just introduce it to the speakers when you're playing it. That's the method that I like to follow. So it gives you kind of like a safe hand at poker, but also you can bluff at the same time, meaning you play your composition and you also improvise on it. It's a great way to do it. And looking around, Elektron is the kind of the one and only, almost the one and only, that offers this feature, that I can so tidily and neatly arrange my patterns and compositions and sounds into a very accessible manner where I can actually edit on the fly. It's fun. And so that's the way that I do it. And yeah, they're all MIDI synced. The digitone is the master, which then octatrack is slave, and then the rhythm is slave. Why the digitone is the master? Because, this is my feature request to Elektron right now. Because digitone is the only one that can store BPM per pattern, which is a huge omission. Look at that. And I tell, but here we are. So that's why the digitone is the master, so that I know which composition will follow which BPM. On these other machines, you have to remember them or note them down. So you guys have got any questions? If not, thank you very much for coming.
Do you use the dual VCO on the rhythm?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I didn't use it in this set.
What was the question?
The dual VCO on the rhythm, is it being used? I didn't. To be honest, I just prepared the set yesterday and today, where we're staying. So yeah, I didn't really look into that. But how the rhythm was working, it was very drums and very tone, like full drums. This was like the light, sample-based, that type of stuff. So they complemented each other, and that's why they needed to do this. Yeah. So no.
I have a quick question. I saw you on the octave track. I saw you pushing the button, and it's like creating a repeat.
Yeah.
Like a stud repeat.
Delay mode.
Yeah. What was it? No.
If you ask
I saw you holding the button and then it was repeating. Maybe you just went fast. I don't know.
But it is. When I hold it, it's at that moment of what the music is being fed, or no, what the music that is being out from the octave track gets looped as I press it. And that loop has a time division which can be modified when I hold the button. These light up, maybe you can see it. And when these light up, these actually modify the timing of the loop that I am picking up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a beat repeat effect. But what is really neat here is that the way that I set up the delay engine, that causes the beat repeat effect, is when I capture that audio, the audio that is coming out from the octave track doesn't get muted. So the effect and the dry signal can be heard at the same time. If you don't do it like that, when you press it and you hear just the wet, it's very glitchy and stuttery. Yeah. But if that is the thing you're after, so be it does that too. So that's the beat repeat effect. And it's assigned on the master track on the octave track. The octave track has 8 tracks, but one of them can be selected as a master track. Then the 2 effect blocks will be your master effects. And that's how I did it. Yes.
There was one thing you did at the end where you sort of like destroyed all the sound and the digitone. It was like something crazy where you could you explain the process?
The digitone and the digitact has well, they got multiple tracks. On this one you have 4 tracks, and whatever track that you're focused on, you can tweak it by using the knobs. But if you hold this button here, you will change the 4 tracks at the same time. So it's like having an octopus arm all of a sudden when you hold that button. It's quite trippy and really, really cool. So when you do that, you can just hold that button, go like this, or even put a sausage in the middle of the button. That's an office joke. It was a very joke that I'm very glad to introduce it to you. We always joke about putting sausages in.
It'll be an accessory on the website soon.
Imagine that,
Elektron sausage.
So when I was doing that, I was editing the synth page. So on the synth page of the digitone, you have the operators, the 4 operators, and they are oscillators. They produce sine waves, And when you change the frequency of them all at the same time, you get this messed up effect. And once you start switching to other pages such as filter, delay, river LFOs, and do this sausage trick, man, it's crazy stuff. It's yeah, nowhere else to be seen almost. It's like it's so intuitive and very close to the heart and the brain at the same time. I think it's the man-machine interaction is very important, and these ones really excel at.
Sausage trick.
So what was happening with your sample?
Yeah, why did Octatrack mess up? Yeah. Yeah. And we were talking about that. I think it was with you, why my samples aren't in sync.
Daniel.
Right. What happened this year is that the Octatrack has got 8 tracks, and each of the track can play back its samples time stretched. So anything that you fit in here, put in here, can be synced up to your BPM. Sounds great, right? But it didn't. Yeah, so what it is that you have a lot of parameters to actually make sure that this works correctly, or you can do tricks with them. So you have these parameters that is on the page, and they're quite the buttons are here. So when I was going around, I accidentally changed some of the values, which then, as a result, it changed the speed of the sample, which then it was totally out, as everybody heard. And I was like, what the hell? But then, that's the first thing that I looked at, is like, oh, are the parameters in the correct position? Yeah, they are. So what actually happened is, you have this awesome fader on the Octatrack. So you can hold, let's say, when you push the fader, you want to have